Okay, so it's Tuesday, 15th July 2025, 10 a.m, 28 degrees centigrade, about 82 Fahrenheit, and as usual, it'll get up to mid-30s centigrade by the afternoon. Now, I haven't posted a video for quite a while. Been a lot of rain recently, so I haven't managed to spend much time outdoors apart from actually feeding MEDAKA. So I haven't had time between the rain showers to get down to making a video. Anyway, now the weather's cleared up, I can sit outdoors in my chair and chat a bit about what I maybe will call the green water myth. So let's sit down a bit. Are there any nice MEDAKA to look at in here? What they're doing? Yeah. No, it appears that the conventional view that it's almost essential that MEDAKA fry be raised in green water as a food source if you want to raise strong, healthy fry. As probably everybody knows, it's mentioned many times in all the hundreds of Japanese YouTube videos about MEDAKA. Now, my own personal view is it's a myth. It's one of those things that people appear to accept without looking at any sort of scientific basis for that view. So, as I say, my own personal view, a lot of people might not agree, but okay, I'm happy if people want to disagree, no problem. But my own view is that basic green water consists solely of phytoplankton, which are entirely plant-based microscopic organisms, or if you like, you might call them microalgae. And MEDAKA are almost entirely carnivores, as compared to, for example, goldfish, which you could call sort of omnivores, or if you like, herbivores, carnivores. Therefore, I mean, as usual with carnivores, MEDAKA won't deliberately seek out and eat phytoplankton as a food source. But they may incidentally ingest a small amount of plant-based phytoplankton when eating animal-based food, such as zooplankton or powdered fry. So zooplankton are microorganisms which are animal-based, protein, etc., etc. And I've got several points to support that view. So, move to my chair to look at the pond. Still not that many MEDAKA in here. I've got these two round fry refuges, yeah, and I put any eggs I've got on from the spawning mops from the other tubs, put them in there, and the fry can hatch out, see how many survive. So yeah, talking about green water myth. Basically, MEDAKA are carnivorous fish, similar to other carnivores. MEDAKA have short intestines. Maybe only about half the body length of a MEDAKA is the gut or intestine. Whereas if you've got omnivores, herbivores such as goldfish, they have much longer intestines because they need to digest and break down the cellulose in plant-based food. And goldfish, I think, maybe have intestines or gut maybe 2 to 3 times the body length. So the MEDAKA's short gut is only suitable for the quick digestion of animal-based protein, etc. And it's goldfish, for example, will eat a lot of plant-based material because they have, I think they're called cellulose fermentation chambers within their gut, within their long gut, which are able to break down the cell walls to get nutrients from plant-based food. Basically, MEDAKA can't get nutrients from plant-based food because they can't break down the walls of the plant cells. And I've seen also mention of a study of the stomach content of MEDAKA in the wild, which found that the MEDAKA's diet in the wild was usually about 90% zooplankton, or plant, animal-based protein, 8% insect larvae, which is protein-based food, and 2% plant matter. So it's basically, you're talking about 98% animal matter and only 2% plant matter. So stop talking, there's a plane going overhead, getting very noisy. I've also seen mention of another study which showed that MEDAKA fry fed solely on phytoplankton had very significantly lower survival and growth rates compared to fry fed with animal-based food. Something like only fry fed solely phytoplankton, only about 1/3 survived after 14 days, whereas maybe nearly 90% fry survived 14 days with an animal-based diet. However, having said all that, and looking at these two buckets of fry I've got here, I'll accept that green water may be okay, but it's a very big but. It's only okay if it can be ensured that in addition to the phytoplankton, the green water also contains sufficient quantities of zooplankton to provide animal protein based food for the fry. I mean, zooplankton such as rotifers, infusoria, etc. feed on the phytoplankton, and then the fry will feed on the zooplankton. But if it's only green phytoplankton and no zooplankton, then the fry will starve. And the problem is that the phytoplankton is obviously very visible, but zooplankton are not easy to see at all. Now, I've never seen any zooplankton within this bucket. Highly probable there are some there, but I've no idea whether they're enough to ensure that the fry will grow quickly or not. And so here, clear water, the fry looking, I think they look more healthy, but no, that's a very subjective view. But I feed both buckets similar amount of powdered fry food, and I forget about whatever zooplankton might be within the green water or not. Now, I didn't deliberately encourage the green water in this bucket. Just grew in the bucket because the bucket was in the sun in a previous position, and I moved it here. So, okay, I accept green water will grow, but I definitely don't encourage it. And I think it's much easier to see the condition of the fry and whatever in this clear water. And I think anyway, by the time the fry reach this stage, they're looking for something a bit bigger than the microscopic zooplankton to feed them and provide them enough nutrient from the animal protein based food. And the problem with green water is obviously it indicates that there are nutrients in the water to encourage the photoplankton to grow. You can get an algae bloom, and that's not good for the fry. But it quite possible you've got excess nutrients in the bucket, encouraging the phytoplankton to grow. And MEDAKA are very weak for the first couple of weeks, and if the nutrients are excessive, it may adversely affect the survival rate and growth rate of the fry. I say here, no phytoplankton. The fry are fine, they've grown well. I don't know what survival rate is, I've never counted. But to me, there's no advantage to having green water. So, summarising, MEDAKA fish have digestive systems which lack any adaptation necessary to break down plant cell walls, to break down the cellulose efficiently, to get any nutrients from the phytoplankton. So you can't assume that phytoplankton is a good source of food for fry, and if fry only have phytoplankton to feed on, then they will be starved. And it's very difficult to determine whether or not green water has zooplankton in it to provide a good food source for any fry. Therefore, for me, it's far, far better to aim for having clear water and feeding with powdered fry food, rather than messing about with all the green water stuff. Okay,